Yo, so in the aftermath of the Green Bay Packers falling short to the San Francisco 49ers 13-10 last Saturday, a lot has been made of Aaron Rodgers' performance in the postseason, as well as his future with the organization. I'm going to let this clip from Undisputed play and I'll chime in.
So, Shannon, what percent of the blame did Rodgers deserve for the loss?
25. I gave him 25%, Skip. He did.
I'm not quite sure how you could give Aaron Rodgers only 25% of the blame. Look, I understand that the special teams blew it. That special teams is the worst special teams in the NFL. It's been the worst special teams for a while now. All season, it's been the worst special teams. Last season, if it wasn't the worst special teams, it was bottom five special teams. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I've been saying Mason Crosby is the worst kicker in the NFL. And I get it. He's done legendary things in the past, but he's washed. He's washed now, and they should have moved on from him. He's not a good kicker. The guys in the special teams blocking, they're just... Look, Green Bay is top heavy. Green Bay has star players. Green Bay has players that... They have playmakers. They have guys that can make a difference out there, but the bottom half of the roster is very weak, and a lot of times special teams consist of the bottom guys in the roster. So Green Bay has had a terrible special teams, and I understand why people would point blame at them, but hey, he's the quarterback at the end of the day, and we give credit to the quarterback whenever teams win. So we have to blame the quarterbacks when they lose. You know, they're at fault. And when your defense holds a team to 13 points in the playoffs, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're supposed to win that game. If you said before the game that the Niners were only going to score 13 points, everybody in the world would have picked the Packers to win. So it has to be more than 25% blame on Aaron Rodgers. I'm leaning closer to 80%. I'd say 80% blame on Aaron Rodgers, 20% on the special teams because they're a terrible unit, but even Matt LaFleur spoke about it before the game. They knew that the special teams wasn't a good unit, so you have to overcome that, and they had the pieces on both sides of the football to overcome it, and they thought that they would get more out of their quarterback, and they didn't. So I'm putting 80% of the blame on Aaron Rodgers. 25 is just way too low.
Play bad, but he didn't play great. He didn't make any play that would flip the game. And as Jenny mentioned in the read, Skip, outside of that first drive, they really didn't muster anything. They had a play. They picked out Jimmy G right before the half, Skip, and then he got outside the container. He hit Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, what you should have done is what you saw Cooper Kupp did, race the guy to the point, and then cut back. You didn't do that. You kept trying to run down the sideline. Make a play in the open field. Race him to a point.
Yes, Aaron Jones could have did more with that. We see that A.J. Dillon's been getting a lot more snaps, a lot more touches. He could have done more with that, but hey, that was the last time we saw Aaron Rodgers actually be aggressive until that very last throw when he went deep to Devontae. That was kind of the last time that we saw Aaron Rodgers be aggressive. You know, after that, he kind of got real conservative. I understand Nick Bosa, they were coming with that pass rush, but if it wasn't Devontae Adams, he wasn't throwing the ball. If it wasn't Devontae Adams, he wasn't looking for him. You know, he missed Lazard wide open. He missed Lazard wide open on that deep throw to Devontae. He was doubled. He had Lazard wide open underneath. But that's the story of Aaron Rodgers. He just doesn't trust guys. You know, I remember watching the Packers play the Cardinals on Thursday Night Football earlier this year, and the Packers were able to sneak out of there with a win due to A.J. Green not turning around and catching the ball in the end zone for Kyler Murray. But I watched that game, and, you know, he was without Devontae Adams, and he was without a lot of his guys in that game. And so they had backup receivers out there. And when one guy dropped the ball, you know, you just see Aaron just showing him up. Aaron's showing him up. Aaron's giving him funny faces. He's putting on an act for the TV, for the viewer to see. He's not throwing you the ball again when you're wide open. Like, there were times where guys would be wide open sitting in the zone. And you know that Aaron Rodgers sees them, but he was like, he would go through all his other reads first, and then he'd be like, all right, I'll hit you. And then he would throw it to him. But it was like, you know, Tom Brady or Joe Burrow or these other guys, they're just hitting the open guy. They're just hitting the open guy. But something about Aaron Rodgers, you know, his claim to fame is his statistics. His claim to fame is that he's the guy that has a great passer rating. He's the guy with the great touchdown to interception ratio. And he really holds on to that, and he tries to be like, just, you know, he's the wonderkin. And, you know, I get it. Aaron Rodgers, all-time great talent at the position, but the position is about making plays. The position is about doing what you have to do to win. And you saw Tom Brady. Tom Brady had a terrible game against the LA Rams, But his defense started holding up in the second half, and what did he do? He kept taking risks. He kept attacking. And all you can do is put that ball up there and give the receivers a chance, you know? Sometimes it was like Aaron Rodgers, he wasn't even giving his receivers a chance. I remember a few years ago, Aaron had that problem when, like, Matt LaFleur's first season or the year before Matt LaFleur came around, he was just throwing the ball away nonstop. It was like, if it wasn't there, he would just throw it away. And it's like, he's just not risk averse, you know? And sometimes you have to be. Sometimes you have to be, when you're playing this game, you have to take a chance, because I'll take a gunslinger over a guy who's just conservative. You know, I'll take a guy who's going to draw the PI flags on the corners, the guy who's going to take the deep bomb, and we could possibly get a cheap touchdown. We can get an easy one going deep. I'll take that guy over the game manager any day. Now, when you have a stacked roster, you can be a game manager, but in this game, he needed to score more than 10 points, bottom of the line. Bottom line, he needed to score more than 10 points.
That's 75 yards.
Yeah, but see, you got to touchdown because they end up. Guess what? They blocked the field goal.
Yep.
And Skip, this comes down to field. This comes down to special team. There's a reason why people say football is the ultimate team sport, because the offense, we need them to do their job. The defense, we need them to do their job. The least you practice, the least you spend the least amount of time on special team. Trust me, I know. I was on special teams basically exclusive. Well, my first 2 years mainly exclusively. Then my third year, I've kind of moved to offense and played a little bit more offense, but still played special teams. Skip, you get a period here and there. Okay, kickoff. Okay, field goal. Okay, punt. That's it. Where in offense, okay, D. Special teams in the middle of practice, Skip, you don't really spend a whole lot of time. And then you don't think about it until what, Skip? You hear that double thud. You hear the punt, the ball coming up the kicker's foot, and then guess what? That thud, somebody's hand hit it. And that's...
Yeah, that noise when the kicker misses it. The Green Bay Packers have been hearing that all year. I don't have the stats in front of me, but you could look it up. Mason Crosby missed a lot of kicks this year. He missed a lot of field goal attempts. He missed a lot of extra points. Every time I watched the Green Bay Packers, I watched almost every game they played this season. He missed a lot of kicks, dude. Mason, they cannot bring him back next year. They cannot bring him back. I know he's a Packer legend. Probably has the most points all time. Green Bay history, whatever. He got to go. He got to retire. He got to hang him up. You got to move on. He's a bum. He's washed.
And we saw this all year, and you just hope. And I think Troy and Joe Buck said that the concerning thing with Matt LaFleur is I hope our special teams don't rear its ugly head in this game. And what happened, Skip? Man, I sure hope that, and they showed up. Skip, you got an easy three, and you let the guy come. Skip, the wing. Skip, you're taught on the wing. The most dangerous man is the inside. You let the outside edge guy go because he has the farthest distance to travel. What did he do, Skip? He opens up. The guy jumps through the gap, boop, blocks it. So,
man, knowing Crosby, he probably gonna miss it even if they don't block it, man. That's how bad he was this season.
3 off the board. Skip, all you gotta do is punt the ball. Make him drive the field. The only way you can get back in the game, the same thing I said about Tampa. The only way Tampa gets back in this game is turnovers in short fields. Skip, the guy comes through. I don't know what the up back. That's what the up back. They call. I don't know what they call him. We call him a personal protector. You might call him up back. Okay, whatever you want to call him, Skip. He goes out one side. He sees the guy hit up the snapper. I got to snap the ball, Skip, and try to block. Skip, why not just wait? Make sure you get the punter get the ball out, and then you leak. It doesn't do you any good to get down there, get ready to make a tackle if the guy got the ball standing in the end zone. And that's what happened, Skip. The defense was outstanding. They held Jimmy G to 13 points. Jimmy G made 2 outstanding throws on that last drive, one to Kittle, one to Debo. At the end of the day, I can't kill Rodgers because Rodgers was 20 of 29. He didn't turn.
You can't kill Rodgers when he was making no plays out there. You can't kill Rodgers when he lost to Jimmy Garoppolo again. Like, this dude just cannot beat the 49ers to save his life. I know he beat them on a last-second drive earlier this year, but when it matters most, he just cannot beat the San Francisco 49ers. They have his number. And, look, Aaron, all-time talent, but he only has 1 Super Bowl. He got all these MVPs, but only 1 Super Bowl. What does that tell you? He's coming up short when it matters most. They They played single coverage on Devontae Adams, and they played catch the first drive. The first drive, he was just playing pitch and catch with Devontae, you know? And then they started doubling Devontae, and he had nothing in his back pocket for that. Like, when you're game planning for the game, what are they thinking when, oh, you know, Devontae's just not going to get doubled? At some point, Devontae's going to get doubled, and he just thinks he's going to force it to Devontae still? Well, what if you can't force it to Devontae, Aaron? What are you going to do now? You're just going to throw the ball away? You're just going to try to force it to him, and it's incomplete? Like, he had nothing up his sleeve for when the double team came to Devontae. And the Packers, like, he gives the Packers a bunch of shit, but that organization has gave him some pieces. You know, he has two good running backs. He has a solid O-line. He has Lazard isn't half bad. He asked for Cobb. He asked for Cobb to come back. You know, he has guys. He has guys out there. You know, he has enough. He has enough that he was supposed to score more than 10 points. It's inexcusable. I want to give him more. The more that I talk about it, I want to give him more than 80% of the blame. But that special teams is so horrendous. And I've been saying that all year. I have tweets where I've just been going off on Crosby all year that I can't give him the full blame, but I want to. Because this is his resume. He does this every single time. He falls short every single time.
All over. He just didn't make a play. You're expecting a guy of his caliber. What we saw with Mahomes, what we saw a couple of plays with Brady, every guy with the exception of even Tannehill, Skip, made a throw to A.J. Brown. You're like, how the hell did he do that? And then
he was the worst quarterback. Aaron Rodgers was the worst quarterback last weekend. Last weekend was a phenomenal weekend of football. Jimmy G got the win. Tannehill, yeah, he was fucking up, but Tannehill was also making plays. Joe Burrow was great. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, I mean, they were all time. And Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford. Stafford got the win and he played sound. And Tom Brady, he was terrible, but, you know, he had his moments where he made things happen. And that's what Brady's going to do. That's the difference between Brady and Rodgers, you know? Brady is going to make things happen when it matters most because Brady just has that clutch gene. Brady, when things get tough and when it gets late in games, the game freezes and the game slows down for Brady. But for Rodgers, just like most players, he declines in those moments. He gets tight in those moments. And it's just, it's visible. It happens every single time, you know? Aaron's so much more talented than Tom is. Aaron can do so much more with the football than Tom can. But when it matters most, you're going to take Tom 10 times out of 10. And why is that? Because Tom just handles adversity better. And that's what it's all about. That's what the quarterback position is all about. I would take that guy over the talented guy 10 times out of 10 at the quarterback position because it doesn't matter how far you can throw it or how many cool things or, you know, sidearm this and throwing it with your left arm that, opposite arm that, and all this other stuff. All that stuff is cool, you know. If you can incorporate it into the game and use it effectively, that's dope. Like the no-look throws and all that, that's dope. But it's about managing the position. And nobody has managed the position better than Tom Brady has. You know, Tom Brady has managed the quarterback position way better than Aaron Rodgers has. And that's the difference. That's why Tom Brady is, you know, arguably the GOAT quarterback, and that's why Aaron Rodgers should be, but he isn't.
I know we're going to talk about him, Skip, but I gave him 25% of the blame. Special teams let him down again.
Are you finished?
I'm finished.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Thank you. I just let you go on and on and on and avoid the truth of what happened at Lambeau Field.
Skip always be getting on Shannon for talking too much, but Skip be talking for 80% of the segment. If you watch this show, you know Skip lets Shannon go first. Shannon talks for 2 minutes and Skip be like, all right, my turn. And then Skip just takes over the whole segment. It's hilarious.
On Saturday evening.
Okay.
Much to the chagrin of our friend Lil Wayne, who was sitting up in a box watching this.
Freezing his
And
tail
I
off.
hate that he made this trip. I just hate it for him because it tore him apart.
Every time he go, he might need to stay away, Skip. He might be bad luck. Hey, nephew, you might be a little bad luck. You might need to stay away from them things.
There's that Lil Wayne bad luck for the Packers. Yo, that got to be the craziest relationship ever, man. The Skip Bayless and Lil Wayne being friends. That's the that don't make I don't get it. That don't make no sense.
I can kill Aaron Rodgers for this because I have been killing him, quote unquote, on television for the last 10 years. I've been saying he's not that guy in the postseason, that he's never, ever lived up to his now 4 regular season MVPs in postseason performance. He did
Agreed.
that one wild card road run to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I will give you this, he won that Super Bowl and he was the MVP. But he's now 1-4 in NFC Championship games because the one that he won at Soldier Field in that wild card road run was against Caleb Haney in the second half. And in that game, he struggled. In the second half, he threw for all of 88 yards,
Right.
7 of 15 with no touchdowns and interception, and they hung on for dear life against the immortal Caleb Haney, and for my man from Vanderbilt, Jay Cutler, who was stuck on an exercise bike trying to work out the kink in his knee because
Right.
he had a sprained knee.
Correct.
So
Yeah, because Aaron doesn't overcome adversity. Aaron's a front runner. Aaron's an all-time great talent, but he's a front runner. He's a guy who, hey, when it's me versus you and everything's just clear and you clear it out, he's gonna win because he's more talented. He's arguably the most talented quarterback of all time. But hey, there's adversity and there's things that come up and he just doesn't handle it well. So that's when the opposition gets the edge.
I now look back at what happened on Saturday night, and I will sum it up with one of my post-game tweets.
Okay.
I tweeted, I guess Aaron Rodgers also got immunized against winning in the postseason.
There you go.
Okay.
See?
Yo, these guys on these talk shows, like especially Skip and Colin Cowherd, they love getting on these athletes for not getting vaccinated. Like they take every little jab, not to be, no pun intended, but every little jab. They take every little jab at these athletes for not getting vaccinated, and it's just like, yo, just stick to talking about the game, dude. Stop forcing your beliefs and your opinions onto others, because that goes well beyond what you know.
You
That's what I
couldn't
think
help
he did.
yourself, could you?
And I also tweeted, I guess the 49ers had the Rodgers rate, didn't they? Yeah, because they were all over him.
Now that was funny. He said the 49ers got the Rodgers rate.
And I also tweeted that I guess Aaron Rodgers did become the Jeopardy host that he wanted to be, only in playoff games, because every playoff game for Aaron Rodgers is double Jeopardy, correct? And
That was mid.
in the end, since that long ago, far away Super Bowl run, he's now 7-9 in the postseason. 7-9. And I'm going to go off this game. I'm going to give him 75% of the blame because he had the better team.
Hey, that's where I'm at with it. I said 80%. That's where I'm at with it. I'm in that range. I got to give some to the special teams, but I'm in that range. And before I forget, let me just say this. Like, Aaron Rodgers does this every single season. That's why I have to have it at about 80% because he always does this. He always falls short. And, I remember last year a lot of people were saying Matt LaFleur made the wrong mistake because he didn't let Rodgers go for it on 4th and 8 or whatever. And, people were making a big hullabaloo about that. And I get it. You want to put the ball in the hands of the MVP and give him one last play to make. But there were multiple plays to make on that drive that he wasn't making, And it's his fault that they were down that much to begin with, So I don't like that he got a scapegoat. He got to use his coach as a scapegoat. And knowing Aaron, he ran with it. He ran with it the whole offseason. Like, he was this victim who didn't get a chance to go for it on the last play or whatever. But I'm telling you guys right now, I told everybody right after the game ended that Rodgers wasn't going to convert that 4th down. He was not going 4th and goal from the 8-yard line. He was not going to convert that, dude. Once they got into the end zone, once they got into the red zone, once they got to the goal, 1st and goal, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. When you saw how the first couple plays went, when he didn't run for it, when he had the opportunity to run in and scramble or hit Devontae a little earlier, when he didn't do those things, I knew they weren't going to score. So I'm not mad at LaFleur for taking the field goal and for trusting his defense that had been locking up Tom Brady in the second half to just get one more stop for them, and then Rodgers could start over and have a chance for the win. I'm not mad at it. It might not have been the smartest thing to do, but he was not going to convert. He was not going to convert that. I'm telling you guys, Aaron Rodgers was not going to convert that 4th and goal.
he had the healthier team. He was playing at home with number 1 seed home field advantage to the Super Bowl, and you had your late chances to put this game away, and you did not do it right on cue, actually predictably, which is why the other thing that trended after the game was Aaron Rodgers, not my nickname, but I wish I'd thought of that because that's basically what I've been calling him for 10 years on TV.
Skip hella mad. He's like, why didn't I think of that? Skip wishes he came up with that shit, man. Aaron Rodgers.
Is a fraud in the postseason. He is overhyped and completely overrated in the postseason. Yeah. And I want to point out that
Agreed.
7 wins that he has in the postseason, one came against a receiver playing quarterback from Minnesota. That was Joe Webb. And then the next one came in the Dez caught it game because Dez definitely caught it. And you got away with that one. And then the next one came courtesy of Kirk Cousins, who actually played like Kurt Cousins in that game. And then there was the Odell boat trip game in which Odell took his New York Giants receivers to South Beach to get ready for a game on the frozen tundra, showed up for that game, dropped an early 3rd down pass, and then dropped a touchdown pass in the back of the end zone as Eli and company fell apart around Odell.
Right.
So you got away with that one. And then there's the Mason Crossbar game against Dak and Zeke as rookies when they came all the way back to 31 all. And Mason Crossbar hit 2 intergalactic hand of God field goals. I have no idea how they went through because neither started off the foot like they were going to cross the crossbar, and they did.
Well, Skip, see, all I'm saying is this.
Rodgers' postseason career sounds a little bit like LeBron, the way that he be lucking up with shit. You know, LeBron gets 1 ring in the bubble. He gets another ring when the Warriors are banged up and Draymond gets suspended. He gets 2 rings in Miami when he got the best roster in the league. One of those rings came with Ray Allen hitting that crazy-ass shot. I know we're not talking about basketball, but, you know, it sounds like every time, you know, Aaron Rodgers' success in the postseason, the luck that he has when he comes through in the postseason, it reminds me a little bit of LeBron.
I did give Rodgers some blame. I'm not saying, because I don't think, 20 of 29 for over 200 yards, Skip. He just didn't make the play. Look at this, okay? They had a block field goal. They had a block punt for a touchdown. And on the game-winning field goal, Skip, they only had 10 men on the field. Mm-hmm. Only 10 men.
Okay, so I will continue. Then he got away with...
Yeah, but if you put Justin Herbert in that game, you took Aaron Rodgers out and you put Justin Herbert in that game, after I saw the way that Justin Herbert battled in the season finale against the Raiders, I think Justin Herbert wins that game against the 49ers. If you took out Aaron Rodgers and put, I don't know, Lamar Jackson, I know Lamar hasn't had the best postseason success, but Lamar's a gamer, and he just makes things happen, and, you know, he'll take risks. They might win that game, you know? Shit, you put Josh Allen in there, they're going to win that game. You put Patrick Mahomes, they'll win that game. You put, you know, I know Deshaun Watson didn't play this season, but you put Deshaun Watson in there, they're going to win that game. So, I don't know. Aaron definitely let his team down. I don't know how Shannon could say only 25%.
Beating the Rams, remember a couple of years back? Because this last playoffs.
Yeah,
because Aaron Donald had cracked ribs and was just a ghost. Right. And Jared Goff had to play with pins in his throwing thumb. So is that all you got? That's the bulk of your 7 wins, okay? Now, let's go back to what happened at the end of the game the other night. Okay, so they're up 10-3. Green Bay at home is up 10-3, and you give Aaron bleeping Rodgers the football with 6:10 left. And let's see what happened in that series. You're 1st and 10 at your 21, and he hands it off to Aaron Jones, who gets just 2 yards and gets thrown backwards. And then next play, you go to Devontae, incomplete, low and outside, not a good throw. And now on 3rd down, you get sacked.
So what are you supposed to do with that one?
You wind up 4th and 19 from your 12, and thud, right? Thud happens off the foot and off a hand into the end zone, touchdown. Okay, so you immediately get the ball right back. Now it's 4:36 left, and you're tied. You're Aaron Bleepin Rodgers. Right. You're about to be a 4-time MVP in this league. Right. You are a transcendent thrower of the football, says Shannon Sharp. Okay.
Yes.
1st and 10 at your 29. Let's see what happened, shall we? First and 10, he scrambles to his right, complete because he just throws it out of bounds. But they have an ineligible man downfield, so now you're first and 15. What does he do on first and 15? He just flips it to Devontae, and that's about all he ever does to Devontae. He just flip it to him, and then he throws to Randall Cobb, the guy he wanted back, and that's incomplete. And then he just throws pass and prayer.
No, take Lazard.
This is passing a prayer. Passing a prayer. Guess who to 17? Devontae.
Yeah, but he had predetermined because.
Yeah, there was no way that he was going to get that ball to Devontae. So that was some bullshit. Lazard is wide open underneath, and Lazard was going to take that. Lazard was going to make a play with that. I don't know if he would have got all the way, but Lazard was going to make a play with that. And Aaron just missed him. Aaron locked in on Devontae like he always does. That's all he ever does.
Because you run the post one side, but you're running the over on the back side. All he had to do, if he hadn't predetermined, he got Lazard. Lazard's going to score.
Okay, so that's your guy. That you gave him the ball back.
Yes.
4:36 left, plenty of time to go do something to win the football game, right?
Yes.
And he not only did he not do that, but all of a sudden San Francisco gets the ball back, and he gets outplayed down the stretch by Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Not in QBR. Aaron's QBR was 19, which is pretty pathetic.
I know a guy had a worse QBR than that.
Well, I know a guy who had a worse QBR than Brady did, and that was Jimmy G, who has now beaten Aaron Rodgers the last 2 times he's played him with pathetic numbers. But
inexcusable. Aaron Rodgers getting owned by Jimmy G. That's just inexcusable. And Jimmy G, for all the flack that people give him, I know Jimmy G struggles throughout the game, but Jimmy G is great in the 2-minute warning. I noticed that this season. He's great in the 2-minute warning. When it's 2 minutes left in the second quarter, or 2 minutes left in the ball game, a minute left in the game, whatever, he always comes through. And I think it's because he's a guy who, in the course of the game, sometimes he overthinks, and he has Shanahan in his ear, and he's just overdoing it, and he makes dumb mistakes. Sometimes he plays them into games, and sometimes he plays them out of games. But down the stretch when he can just be free and he can just hit his reads, Jimmy's as good as anybody. When Jimmy just has a clear mind and he can just go for it, he's as good as anybody. Now the problem is he's not usually like that. He usually, he's second guessing and he's wavering in confidence, and he's just sometimes he's just not thinking. I think that's what it is more than anything. Sometimes he's overthinking, but second guessing, but sometimes Jimmy G just don't be thinking at all. So, and that's it's like a gift and a curse, Sometimes it comes and it bites him throughout the course of a game, but in that 2-minute warning, when you need plays, when you need something to get done, Jimmy G just slinging it, man. It works. I mean, it works for the Niners. They're in the championship. They're in the NFC championship game, so it's working enough for them.
It was time to make clutch throws. You already pointed it out. He hit Kittle for 12, and he hit Debo for 14. And then if we could see the play of the game, comes down to 3rd and 7 at the Green Bay 38. And guess what they do? They tried to run Debo a couple times in a row, and they just give it to Debo again, and he just says, I'm going to get this. He just ran for 9 yards on 3rd and 7. Ball game.
I'll tell you this, though. For all the good things I'm saying about Jimmy G only throws the ball up the middle. Jimmy G only throws the ball up the middle. They run slants or, guys find a little opening in the zone, and they plant themselves there, and he just hits guys in the middle. Jimmy G, he does not dot shit up outside the numbers. I'll tell you that.
They have a hurt shoulder.
Okay.
If a guy has a hurt shoulder, what are we going to make him do? We're going to make him tackle. Now, we go back and run this. Watch what he tries to do. He ain't bringing that hurt shoulder. I'm going to put the left one that's healthy. I ain't bringing that right one. So anytime I know you got an injury, I'm going to make you tackle. Make him tackle. You see? Skip. You see? You see? I ain't gonna, I'll make you tackle. That's what you do. If I know a guy's injured, you better not have a hurt shoulder.
Debo was Deboing people.
Skip.
He just Deboing people.
I've never seen anything like Debo.
No.
I'm not saying.
Yeah, Shanahan got Debo looking like one of the best players in the National Football League. I know he's not quite there, but Shanahan's a great play caller. Shanahan makes Debo look just insane. The way that he utilizes him in the backfield and at wideout, and he's just a threat anywhere on the field. Going deep, short, handoffs, everything. I mean, the 49ers do so many creative things. They'll have a guy in the backfield and they'll do a toss, but it's a HB toss, but it's to have the guy go up the middle. It's not a toss to send him outside. It's a little toss, and then the dude's running right up the middle. And with Kyle Juszczyk, they got the best fullback in the NFL. So, and Trent Williams, they got the best left tackle in the NFL. So, man, the 49ers have a hell of a roster, hell of a play caller. Jimmy G, he's hit or miss, but he's hit at the right time.
I said he's the best receiver ever, but when you combine, look, Skip, and we've seen
And the 49ers have life against the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are favored. I'll be doing a video on that. The Rams are favored, and, the Rams are hot right now. The Rams are the sexy team. The Rams are the team you want to go for. That you probably feel more comfortable putting your money on at this moment because of their play style and the quarterback position. But, the San Francisco 49ers, they mucked the game up. They've been mucking these games up. They've been keeping them low scoring, and, they have the coaching advantage every time that they step out there pretty much. They're winning in the trenches every time they step out there pretty much. So, the Niners got life. I will just say that. The Niners got some life.
Cordell Patterson. Skip, he's like that, but he's not the receiver.
I don't think he's beastly. I don't think he's quite as physical. Cordero is not like this guy.
But Skip, he's in the
This
return.
Yeah, Cordell is he's a beast, but he's not quite Debo. Not quite Debo. Debo's a monster.
Yeah, he can do it all. But Debo, Skip, he's the running back. He's literally, and Kyle was talking about him after the game, saying, yeah, we can put him back there on kickoff, we can put him on punt, we can hand him the ball, we can throw him the ball.
Yeah.
It's easy to call plays for him because sometimes we just put him back there and you punt it to him. I ain't got to call anything for him. He just do what he does.
To finish this off, just for posterity's sake, we have to see Aaron Rodgers versus Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. last year in the NFC
There you
Championship.
go.
First and goal at the 8.
Man, Skip loves shitting on Aaron Rodgers. And I don't know what Skip loves more, shitting on Aaron Rodgers and shitting on LeBron, or loving Tom Brady. Boy, I tell you, Skip he's a funny old geezer. But anyway, Aaron Rodgers' future is up in the air with the Green Bay Packers. I have a suspicion that he'll go to the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have a good culture over there right now. They're going to be bringing in a new coach, possibly an offensive coordinator or, an offensive assistant from the Green Bay Packers. There's been a lot of reports about who's going to be coaching in Denver. They have the cap space to bring Devontae as well. They have a ton of wide receivers and talent at the tight end and wide receiver spots out there. A lot of talent at the skill positions in Denver. They have a hell of a defense with Surtain in the backfield. Denver has a lot of things, and all they're missing is a quarterback. Teddy had a decent season. Teddy Two Gloves had a decent season for them, but Aaron Rodgers could take them over the top. The thing is, does Aaron really want to hop in that division with Mahomes and Herbert and even Derek Carr? I'm not quite sure. Rodgers has been comfortable in that NFC North where he's just been hiding him. He beats up on these weak teams 6 times a season, but who knows? I have a suspicion about Denver. I wouldn't be too surprised if he came back, but I don't think he's coming back. I wouldn't be too surprised if he came back, though. There's a lot of things indicating that he will come back. But Aaron's an interesting guy, and this won't be the last we hear of Aaron Rodgers during the offseason. He's always making noise in the offseason. But anyway, thanks for watching the videos. Peace.